warm welcome to all my mommy friends. We are growing as a community on this beautiful platform, and I'd like to say thank you to each one of you wonderful people for staying connected. In this video, I'm talking to you about raising a reader. Well, we're all very well aware of the benefits of reading to our children. Yet, at times as parents, we struggle to cultivate the love for books in our children. What are these struggles that we are faced with? Are reading and literacy the same? When does a child actually begin to read? Does reading develop in stages? Join me for some answers. Dr. John Hutton is a researcher and a pediatrician working with the Cincinnati Children's Hospital, and he has special interest in emergent literacy, or in other words, the process of learning to read. How cool is that? Well, in his research, he grouped preschool children around the age of 4 into 3 groups. The first group was exposed to audio stories. The second group was exposed to animated cartoon stories, and the third group was exposed to illustrated pages of a book that were read by an audio voiceover. Now, while these children paid attention to all these stories, a functional MRI machine scanned various areas of the brain of these children for activation and connectivity between these areas.
Neuroscience proves that the number of words an infant is exposed to has a direct impact on vocabulary and literacy, whether the infant understands the content or not.
Strawberry.
Recent research shows that children who are read at home are better at controlling impulses, paying attention, setting goals, and figuring out how to achieve them.
It is a misnomer that literacy and reading are the same. Literacy, or learning to read, is in fact a milestone in a child's life that is quite different from the other milestones such as crawling, walking, running, etc. Literacy requires strong vocabulary, storytelling abilities, phonological awareness, or a child's ability to understand that a spoken language is made up of sounds. Distinguishing an object in a picture book from an object in real life, and the ability to decipher a letter from scribbles or a given design. So you see, literacy and reading are indeed quite different. But reading means a lot of things. Let's find out what it means.
Reading aloud to babies can begin as early as the newborn stage or even in the womb. Newborns lack focus and their eyes may wander over the book. It is not until 3 months that babies become more aware of being read to. Babies enjoy listening to the sound of a parent's voice. The soothing cadence of a sentence being read is like music to their ears. They pick up on emotions and tone of the voice more than words. Make reading enjoyable by using a sing-song voice, varied expressions, and even silly voices if you wish to catch the baby's attention. Babies can be easily overstimulated, and reading must be in short bursts throughout the day, including bedtime reading, instead of making it a focused activity. By 6 to 7 months, a baby begins to grab the picture out of a book as if to pull it off the page. This is when he or she learns that pictures are not real objects, but the representation of objects. Tots are more interested in colors, numbers, shapes, manners, social and emotional behavior, etc. in books, which are their first introductions to a lot of useful facts about the world. At this stage, reading begins to create the roots of empathy and insight. Literary experts talk about the need for a child to be exposed to books that are both mirrors and windows. Some teach the child about his or her own emotions, and some talk about how others feel. Providing access is the most important part of raising a reader. Books should be available anywhere in the house. Bookshelves, stacked books on a bedside table, bath books in the bathroom, etc. Babies love routines and familiarity, so books with familiar pictures such as faces of other babies, strollers, cribs, bathtubs, and so on are ideal. Lift the flap books and touch and feel books provide a complete sensory experience. A young baby who is unable to decipher colors may benefit from books that have large black and white patterns. Board books are a safer and a more durable option over paperbacks. Picture books with fewer words are more engaging to babies and young tots. When you read to your baby, you read the words and your baby reads illustrations. Hence, picture books make both these experiences worthwhile. A very wordy book may short-circuit the baby's interest. Encourage a child to pick a book of his or her own choice and respect the child's preference. Reading aloud should be with the child and not to the child. The more you make reading a mutually satisfying experience, the more it will be associated with pleasure and reward. Reading is all about the emotional bond with a parent when the child is young, and sitting close to your child while reading strengthens this bond even more. Make it a point to read the title of the book and the name of the author and illustrator. This teaches the child to appreciate the creator of his or her favorite books and allows her to begin creating a list of her favorite authors. Allow room for interruptions. It simply shows that your child is engaged in reading. Try not to be wedded to the written word to the extent that you ignore your child's comments. Notice the details in a picture and chat about them with your child. This helps enhance visual discrimination skills in the long run. Develop rituals around reading. Nap time and bedtime reading is part of familiar routines and the easiest possible way to guarantee reading every day. Pick a book that usually has a peaceful ending at bedtime to wind things down. If something you're reading isn't working well for you and your child, change it. Having a family library and access to the local library allows children to grow up to be readers and have ample occasions to read. Children are innately curious, and when you read with emotion and expression, it is simply hard for them to avoid you. Because a child does not sit still doesn't mean he or she is disinterested. They may fidget, move around, and still be with your story. This is normal and developmentally appropriate. Asking questions, bouncing a baby on the lap while reading, offering a calming toy like a sensory toy while reading, avoiding long sentences, reading books with rhyming words are some ways of facilitating reading and engaging your young reader. Every child can learn to read at his or her own pace, and it is important to remember that in the end, all children can read. There is no correct age for independent reading and no special formula. Around 4 years is when a child may attempt reading, but this can vary from one child to another. It is more important to provide exposure and access to books than focus on the child's ability to read. Rereading improves memory, the ability to spot sight words, and word recognition. These skills are key to independent reading. Each time a child reads the book, he or she may discover something new. When a toddler memorizes the words of a book by heart, the toddler is in fact blossoming into a reader.
Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Don't forget the Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall.
Okay. While grammar and pronunciation are part of learned experiences, it is important to remember not to overcorrect the child and mar the joy of reading independently. Emergent readers are often conscious about their ability to read, and correcting them too often could kill the self confidence. However, an occasional correction after the child has read the sentence without actually interrupting him or her is justified. The child samples and learns a full range of sounds, words, concepts, images, stories, exposure to print, literacy materials like books, and talk. He or she pretends to read, gradually developing the skills of retelling a story. The child may name the letters of the alphabet, prints own name, and plays with books, pencils, and paper.
That one? Oh, yes. The bat. Bat. Yes.
The lone and diddly on the bright. Oh, it will lead with it.
And what's the action for this one? Yes.
The child learns the relation between sounds and words, is able to read simple text containing high-frequency words and phonically regular words, and uses skill and insight to sound out new words. The child reads simple and familiar stories with improved fluency and begins to understand the meaning in stories and the written word. Pronunciations get smoother and more confident readers emerge. Reading is used to gain new knowledge and experience new feelings, learn new attitudes, and explore more issues from another individual's perspective. Readers are required to access, retain, critique, and apply knowledge and concepts. Reading serves to integrate one's own knowledge with that of others to synthesize information and create new knowledge. Most importantly, reading is purposeful.
Reading can make us laugh, cry, smart, focused, informed, and knowledgeable. It can create thinkers and visionaries. As much as rushing it can get counterproductive, if it is introduced in a right and a timely manner, reading can become a wonderful gift for a lifetime. If you have felt empowered enough to raise a reader, please share these inputs with your friends and family. Like this video and subscribe to my channel, and do visit the link to my blog that I have attached here within the description box if you wish to know more about this topic. Thank you so much for watching.